All right, it says we're live. So, welcome from the crossroads of America, a wet and windy crossroads of America today and tonight. Talk show, Shooting with Disabilities. We talk guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience. Just put them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a Patreon page and a YouTube thing for one-time payments. All that is down below there in the info section. So that's it. Let's see. We got people are just starting to trickle in right now. We've got Mystic Guns was in first. Then DJ Play Nice. Then Travis T. Then Southpaw RX. That's all I got in the chat right now. So unless I'm missing, unless my chat's not working. But anyway, in the moment, I think I got more on the panel than I got in the chat room. So let's introduce my panelists for tonight. We got the New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
No problem. Then we got Jason Stewart.
Good evening, Rick. It's a wonderful thing to have the freedom to assemble.
It is. Then we got the one and only Kingpin.
Happy Yorkshire Pudding Day, Rick.
Thank you. Then Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Rick. Thank you. I don't have anything inspirational like Jason said, and I don't have anything, holiday themed for you English people like Kingpin said. So just thanks for having me.
Okay. I haven't made Yorkshire pudding in a while. I might make some tomorrow, actually. I haven't made any for a while. Yeah, I might do that. Let me write that down and make some Yorkshire pudding. I don't know if I'll make it tomorrow, but I might make some this week. Tomorrow nobody's invited me for dinner tomorrow, but that's okay.
You come to my place, Rick.
No, that's okay. I mean, I didn't want to say it like I'm all bummed out. No, I got me a humongous ribeye steak sitting in the fridge. So
looking at the map here, you
throw that on the grill.
You could swing down, hit Jason Stewart's house, come back up, hit my house, go hit Guns and Barbecue, and then New York, and then loop back around and go home. Or when the loop back home, go over and take a nap over at Squibby's, and then be back in a week. You'd be home.
Yeah, you're right. But so I'm going to have me a big ribeye steak tomorrow on the grill, baked potato, salad.
We're not eating till 5 o'clock tomorrow, Rick. Plenty of time to make it over here.
Oh yeah.
It's a 3-hour drive.
I don't plan on eating until late in the afternoon or early evening myself. So
we normally don't do ours till about normal dinner time. And from what I know, we're the oddballs. What about the rest of you guys on the panel? It seems like everybody growing up used to do it around noon. But the way I see it, I still want dinner to be at dinner time.
I like noon, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. But it's not going to work out like that tomorrow. I don't think anybody's even getting started cooking tomorrow till in the morning. So
yeah. I mean, now, be honest with you, when I lived in England, we rarely ever celebrated Thanksgiving. The few times we did, it was sort of like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So there we go. I know that's kind of sacrilegious to say we didn't celebrate it, but it was one of those days that you realize it was Thanksgiving, or like the day after when you saw it on the news when the news said, oh, in the United States was Thanksgiving yesterday, and that's, oh yeah, so it was, type thing.
It's not helping your case.
It's the same with the 4th of July. Unless you kept your mind focused on the 4th of July, you normally forget it because, when I went to an English school, I was still in school in the 4th of July. Our school didn't end till the middle of July. So it's those kind of things. So G23 wants to know where in England are you from? I'm from just outside of London. I was actually I lived in most of my life. I lived in Buckinghamshire. That's how you pronounce counties over there, like Yorkshire, Lancashire, Buckinghamshire. It's not Buckinghamshire or Yorkshire. It's Yorkshire. Just want to get that out. So I lived in a excuse me, most of my time I lived in little villages. One called Denham, the other one called Jared's Cross is where I spent most of my youth. So yeah, I was maybe, I don't know, 40, 45-minute drive. I could get to the center of London down the interstate. But
did you ever see the Queen, Rick?
Not up close and personal. I've been in a parade where she's gone by.
Would you say that you were a stone's throw from the River Thames?
Good one.
Well, actually, yes and no. Getting to the River Thames as per se, when people think of River Thames, they think of London, right? Because the River Thames runs through it. But out where I lived was where the River Thames wandered up through where I was. I used to go in the summer months. I used to go hang out on the River Thames, way up there in the country where it started at, sort of.
Now, did they call it the River Thames over there, or were they like, what do you stupid Americans call it? It's just the Thames.
It's the Thames.
Yeah.
We didn't call it.
You wouldn't put on your suit and tie and go out for a Sunday stroll and say, let's go to the River Thames, family.
No. If you went out for a picnic or whatever, where you're going to the Thames, like there was a town called Maidenhead where the Thames ran through it. And it was nice. It was all grass leading right up to the river and stuff. And you could hire pontoon boats and, pontoon down the river on a lazy Sunday afternoon.
So was that little village where they started brainwashing you against mac and cheese?
Yes.
On the list.
I didn't live far. Windsor Castle was in Berkshire, but I was only a stone's throw from Windsor Castle. I used to drink many a night in Windsor with the shadow of the castle, when I'm sitting in the pub drinking.
All I really know about England is from a child is watching Benny Hill. So, is it really like that? Do the women wash their windows and do house chores with their boobs hanging out and stuff like that?
It has been known. It's for such, put it this way. We used to, I don't know if they still do it, but there was a newspaper called The Sun. And they used to call it the page 3 girl. Every day there was a different young girl with her tits hanging out in color. Now, would they do that in the American newspaper over here?
If she had fake boobs, it would be fake news.
But they
wouldn't do that over here.
They would do that, and for one of those young girls to be on page 3, and normally they got a modeling contract or went into acting or whatever. It was kind of a thing to be. Some of them, there was a lot of them repeated. One of the best ones during my day was a woman called Samantha Fox. Oh my God, she had the perfect.
Must be if you remember her name.
Oh yeah, even after all these years, you know.
I remember who that is. A blonde girl.
Yeah,
Samantha Fox. Yeah.
yeah, she was hot.
Didn't she have like a real short music career?
I think she did, if I remember correctly. You know, but anyway, we're getting off track there. I was talking about the River Thames. We're talking about boating on the River Thames. You know, I used to go there. You know, I said I used to drink. I said a stone's throw from Windsor Castle. I used to drink in Windsor and Eton. That's a town or village where that famous boys' school's at. That all the rich and famous and a lot of the royal family boys went to, and it was just across the river from Windsor Castle. And you walk, and there was a bridge that you walked across. It was pedestrian only, and I used to go to the pubs over there. And there, I mean, that school, even to this day, the school uniform is I call them penguin suits. They wear like a top hat and those long coats that, you know, like the Penguin wore against Batman. That's that kind of uniform. That's their uniform they have to wear every day. You know?
Did you ever go to Stonehenge?
Yes. Yeah. I've been to Stonehenge. I mean, when I first went as a child, I remember you could go right up to it, you know, but the last time I went, they had you fenced way back. You couldn't even go near it, you know, because of people making, you know, damaging it and all this kind of stuff.
So how big would you say England is? Is the state of Indiana close to the size of England? Smaller? Bigger?
Oh, shit. I would say it's about close to it. I know you can fit about you can fit about the whole island of Great Britain, right? 3 times in the state of Texas.
So it really wouldn't be that hard to like drive from one edge to the other.
You can drive. It takes roughly just a little over 12 hours to drive from tip to tip.
Oh, well, that's much bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah. It takes
I was thinking maybe
hours.
like a 5-hour.
No.
Size.
It'll take about 12 hours.
It takes Gunsnob longer than that to get down his driveway.
Yeah.
But still, in a lifetime, you're not that far away from all those major tourist attractions and historical sites.
No, it wasn't. They're all close. I mean, I tell you what, where I lived was nice, but I used to love going up to Yorkshire, the rolling hills and stuff. I used to love going up there.
What about the White Cliffs of Dover?
What about them? I've seen them.
I hear they're pretty much not white at all.
No, they're not. They're not. They're sort of gray. But I've been there to the White Cliffs of Dover. What's her name? Only died last year. The singer, Vera Lynn. She sang about the White Cliffs of Dover during the war and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, they weren't too far from where I was. It was, a few hours drive. You get down there.
Did you ever go through the English Channel Tunnel?
No. When I left England, it wasn't finished. It hadn't been either. It only just opened for trains only or something. But I know people couldn't. They weren't. It wasn't really being traveled when I left. It was just getting there.
Now, is that at the shortest point? Was that Calais or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the shortest point between England and France. And I mean, they've been trying to build the tunnel for goddamn hundreds of years. Where they actually built the tunnel was actually started couple of 100 years ago. And they just, with modern equipment, they were able to do it. I think it was a stupid thing to do myself, but what in the hell do I know?
Yeah, I mean, why would you go through that much trouble just to let more French people in your neighborhood?
I know. Goddamn French. France is a beautiful country if it wasn't for the Frenchmen.
Same thing with Canada.
In California.
Yeah. Midnight Range says, I'm a little worried Kingpin knows so much about England. He might be a spy or something.
Spies don't exist.
No.
It's court-ordered government surveillance. James Comey told me that.
Yeah. Oh, or he's reading Wikipedia right now. Oh, anyway, let's go. I mean, people are coming in now. There's a bunch more people. Let's get on. I mean, shooting with disabilities is what this is meant to be about. And technically, what I'm going to talk about is, I'm getting disabilities. Two things, very, very, very loosely here. One, for all the links I got about the Smith & Wesson EZ 380 being recalled, I appreciate all those links. I looked at my box, and I even went online and typed my serial number into their web page, and my firearm is not one of the ones being recalled. Mine was actually made in 2019, so I'm good. So just want to let everybody know that who sent me the links. I really do appreciate it. So I still got my 380, so I'm still good to go. But oh my God, today I had to go down to the laundromat down in Birdseye. It's a 4-mile drive, 4.5 miles. Takes what, 10, 15 minutes, if that? I drive down there. I get in the laundromat. I mean, it's pouring down. And I park right next to the door, and I still get soaked going in. Instead of sitting in the truck waiting for it to ease up, I just bullheaded go for it. So I get in there, and I'm soaked. I throw my laundry in. And I put my money in, and I hit the button, and I said, well, then I run back to the truck. I don't sit in there. Because what I do is I normally run back to the truck and listen to some, I got a lot of Audible. I got a lot of books I listen to when I'm driving. So I just sit in there and listen to one of those for a half hour. But anyway, as I get back in the truck, I'm thinking something's wrong here. Then I start feeling myself. Not down there, but, patting my chest and my arm and my hip. I forgot my goddamn gun. My firearm. And I mean, the reason I'm all out of whack this morning, I normally wake up at 7 to feed the cats. I didn't wake up to 8:45 this morning. So, I was all out of it. Jumped up. I mean, the cats were on my bed scratching me or trying to through my covers. I got up, fed them, splashed water on my face and ran off, got dressed and went to the laundromat because I normally go down to the diner at 10, So anyway, I get to where I was going back to the store. I'm there at the laundromat, and it takes 30 minutes for the washing cycle. I don't have to throw it in the dryer because my dryer still works at home here. So I haven't got it. So I got it. So I started my truck. I drove all the way home, ran inside here, picked up my firearm, put it, in my vest pocket, my vest that says, "Oh, look, he's carrying concealed jacket or vest I had on." I put it there, went back in the truck, drove all the way back to the laundry, man, and I still had 10 minutes to wait for it to finish, But anyway, I mean, it was all out. So that was my thing this morning. Then I went over to the diner, of course, and sat there for 2.5 hours just BSing, moaning and groaning, about the state of the country. But anyway, my other thing, loosely based on shooting with disabilities, is the pistol braces. The saga of the pistol braces. Now, it seems some people are jumping the gun here. Don't get me wrong. To me, the ATF is saying one thing and doing another. And from what I can see so far, is most of them are against that company. Was it SB Tactical? And they claim that they can do what they're doing because they got some vague letter from the ATF or something from them that they didn't say they couldn't do it or something like this before. So it's too bad. I mean, I think we all should email Trump. He's still in office. He's giving away pardons. So let him do something and say, kick the ATF's ass on this.
Well, Trump's already told the ATF to knock it off.
Yeah, but they haven't. So he might need to put the hammer down. On him. Fire somebody from fire a couple of the top guys. Right.
Yeah, fire the top officials.
Yeah,
and the guy underneath them too.
Yes, exactly. But he needs to do something, and it might be a waste of time because if the Biden people get in, they might change it all anyway. But I think he should do something now on it. But from what I can understand, at the moment, it's only targeting SB Tactical's braces. Braces made by other people seem to be okay right now, as far as we know. Now,
well, SB Tactical is the biggest manufacturer of braces in the probably world right now, though. So you'd want to go after the head of the snake. I mean, most everybody's getting them from SB because that's who they know to get them from. I mean, off the top of your head, can you name another pistol brace company?
PSA.
Other than PSA? I mean,
the only reason I know that is I heard somebody else say it today.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only reason I say it is because, PSA does, a little bit of everything, so.
Yeah, but you just said most companies that sell them license them from SB Tactical anyway. Or SB Tactical supplies them to them. I understand that. But my question, where I was going with this is, I don't know if they can, or is there, I can't afford it. Unless one of those big law companies will do a pro bono, is being disabled, they're depriving me of a use of that. Right? Because I need that to hold that rifle because of the arthritis in my shoulders. Have I got a case?
I've heard things about that previously, and I don't remember what they were, but I'm not sure if the disability aspect of it is considered in any way other than like on our side. I don't know if the ATF recognizes that or not.
Plus, you got to remember, you were live on air talking crap about the AR, and you gave the closest thing you have away. So would you even have a reason for it now? So they might just chew you up for that.
Hey, I can soon buy another one if I need to. Or you guys can give me one as a present.
It makes me want to ask the question, why? Why would they want to get rid of everybody's AR pistol? Because let's face it, that's what they go on most 90% of the time is going on an AR pistol. So why would they go after just that? Why would they target just that?
Because of the Dayton, Ohio shooting. Why did they go after bump stocks? Because of Vegas. They waited for a tragedy to happen, and now they're trying to seize on it.
Yeah, and also don't forget. I mean, let's be honest. 99% of people put them to their shoulder, just like a rifle, and theoretically, you got an SBR. I mean, it's a way to get around the NFA, right? I mean, that's what they're using them for. Somebody originally made them to put on your wrist for somebody, people with disabilities. But they realized you put it to your shoulder. Look, you got a short-barreled rifle here. Now, why are they going after it? Think of this. What is there? How many AR-15s and AKs are there in this country?
20 million.
20 million times $200 each. Look at the money that's going to generate for the government, for Biden. And look at all the money going to generate for any magazine over whatever amount they're going to stipulate, say 15 rounds or whatever, at $200 a pop. That's a lot of money generated for the government.
But you're assuming that they're going to take pistol braces and put them on the NFA, and they didn't do that with bump stocks. They just said no more.
I know, but from what we can understand, they're going to make it an NFA item. That's the way. I mean, there's nothing permanent, but that's the way it's looked like they're going to do. So
okay, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
I mean, basically, it's not so much the pistol brace. It's if you want the pistol brace on your AR pistol, then you have to register that as an NFA item.
I'm going to put a link to Josh Benware's channel out in the chat. He made a video about this a little earlier, and his take on it, you might agree with it, you might not, but it was definitely an interesting take. The main point of what he was saying in his video is instead of pitter-patting around with a bump stock and pitter-patting around with is it a brace, is it a stock, can I shoulder it, can I not, go after the big picture and the whole why are we doing this in the first place, instead of all the effort and all the time and the sneaking and the lawsuits and the this and the that to get a pistol brace. Put all that energy into making them stop that. Just give me a stock for my AR pistol. That's it. Just give me a stock for my AR pistol and get off my back. Fight that fight. We're going to put all this effort and we're going to put all this money into protecting the pistol brace. Why not just go a step higher and go after the whole umbrella that it's on? I'm not saying go after the NFA. I'm not saying, Josh mentions go after full auto, and I don't agree with that part, the way he talked about it. But like I said, you can make your own decision if you go watch. But instead of sneaking around, the 2A sanctuary, it makes me think of that. We got 2A sanctuary cities. Well, we've already got a 2A sanctuary, and it's called 2A. We don't need a city to say that they're, so hiding under the fact that my county is a 2A sanctuary county, it's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say, it's kind of a punk way to do things.
Well, the problem is if you sit there and say, just give me a brace or, a stock for my AR pistol. Well, it's no longer an AR pistol. That's the point of the braces. It's a brace, not a stock. Because once you put a stock on it, it's a short-barreled rifle.
That's it. That's the point that I'm making. Is screw all that running around stupid stuff. If I got a 7.5-inch AR pistol, then it's a 7.5-inch AR pistol. Whether I got a stock, a tube, whether I'm, I got a beer dispensing plastic helmet that fires the thing,
Or short-barreled rifles. Get short-barreled rifles out of the NFA.
Yeah.
But then that's where I was kind of confused, because you said not necessarily go after the NFA, but you're going after the NFA.
Well, what I meant by that is some people come out and say completely dismantle the whole NFA, and we know that's not logical. That's not a reality.
I mean, there's never going to be a. It would be nice if there was, but I don't think there's ever going to be a sweeping decision where it's like, all right, NFA's gone. It'd be awesome. But so Exactly. We have to chip away at it, and going after SBRs would be a great step. The Hearing Protection Act would have been phenomenal going in that direction. So I mean, we definitely have to make those steps and keep fighting at it.
Yeah, you're right. Just do one thing at a time. You know, I mean, yeah, as you said, a sweeping thing. Let's dismantle the. I mean, like they're never going to get rid of the ATF in one swipe either. You know, but if we can keep chipping at the NFA, you know, and keep the ATF in check, you know, remind them that they are not. They don't make laws.
Well, the SPR, the no stocks on a pistol stuff, that's all ridiculous. We need to fight it. I mean, what's going to be their defense? I mean, are you going to show me that like 99% of all crimes were committed because of a short-barreled rifle? These measurements and what it is and that is ridiculous. I should be able to put a stock on my Smith & Wesson revolver if I want to. A gun is a gun. It doesn't matter. I mean, you know, one doesn't kill you worse than the other. You're still dead. And they don't like a rifle being shortened because it's concealable. But yet a handgun is completely concealable, and you'll give somebody the permit for that. Yeah. So their whole law is just ridiculous. And there's no logical or reason that they have on their side to say, yes, you can't have a barrel shorter than 16 inches.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, it is stupid. I mean, also, I mean, like the gun control lobby wants to do something with the AR and stuff. In the big picture of crimes committed in this country, the AR is very minute percentage. More crimes are committed with a handgun than with that goddamn scary black rifle.
See, I understand the direction that people come from when they say that, but here's my recommendation moving forward. And, you know, I'm a newbie in the strictly 2A activism or whatever we call this thing that we do. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody tried it before, but I don't even know. I'm not even going to, sorry.
Yeah, I think they use the AR as a punching bag as their poster child. They just like they twist and hide everything that they're doing and name everything something to cover up what they really want. They can scream all they want, get rid of the ARs. Hell yes, we're coming and getting them, and assault weapons and all that. Everything that they've ever put forward, every proposal they put up saying, oh, it's for the AR, it means everything. It doesn't mean just the AR-15. They go down through and classify everything as assault weapon. Then they go after every pistol that holds more than 10 rounds. Oh, yeah. So it's always a disguise. They want the masses to agree with them that, oh, the AR is evil, but the actual laws they're proposing is taking away everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and with the mass media on their side, the American people are believing it, that is a dangerous weapon, that it shouldn't be in our hands.
Well, that's where I figured out a way to say it and be a little bit more politically correct, but that's where we're failing, is in that argument that, well, ARs don't kill as many people as handguns. Okay, assume you're you and I'm a lefty, and you say that to me. If lefties had brains and thought critically, the first thing that I would reply to you is, okay, well, let's get rid of handguns too. Oh, I'll stop going after the AR. Okay, I'll go after handguns. That's fine. I'll take all the millions of dollars that I get from Michael Bloomberg, and we'll focus on all these handguns instead. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I understand where you're coming from. I was just saying that is well, go after that, but
I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying we need to get out of that rut. The thing I call it the things people say, and that's another thing. A thing that people say is handguns kill more people than ARs. Well, you're not making a very good point there because you're
No,
supposed
you're
to be defending firearms. So let's
all
not.
you're doing is, I
let's
mean,
continue.
basically, you're cutting your nose off to spite your face because they're going to come after your handguns.
It reminds me of when people say America's not perfect and we got a long way to go. Well, you're a defeatist. How about America's as close to perfect as anything, and we've went a long way. We've come a long way. You know, when you start off defeatist, then they've got you. And when you say your first argument is, well, handguns kill more people, then I'm going to say, okay, we're going to take the handguns instead. Or also, we're going to take the handguns also because that's their plan anyway.
Yeah, no, we've had this conversation too. Quoting figures at them doesn't do any good. It goes right over their head. But they just ignore what you're saying. You know, it all comes back to what. He's not here tonight, but Patriot in the Dark. You got to talk about freedom in this. You know, just not go on. But anyway, that was my 2 cents worth on the shooting with disability thing. I want to go on to politics. You guys see the Pennsylvania thing where Trump got a thing to stop the certification or something in Pennsylvania? And they got to present something on Friday. Is that good or bad? I mean, is it all going to be for nothing, or they actually got something? Did any of you guys? I know New York Outcasts watched it. Any of you others watched it today? The hearing in Pennsylvania?
No
I've been
cable
pretty
here,
much
so no.
unplugged all day.
Oh, would you want to? Well, basically, they presented their facts and their affidavits, and they had people who signed the affidavits speak, and even President Trump phoned in and spoke about it and everything else. And the judge has stated that certification in Pennsylvania has to stop until they hear every arguments on Friday. Of course, the Attorney General of Pennsylvania said it doesn't matter, we certified already. But they filed a against it, an appeal. If it doesn't matter, why did you file an appeal? You know, so I don't know. Well, so what do you guys think? Do you think that it's a bunch of BS, or do you think it's actually going to work? I mean, from what I didn't see it live. I've watched pieces of it, and from what I've seen, it looks like the Trump team put forth a goddamn strong case, in my opinion. But I'm biased, I guess. You know,
I watched it live myself. Most of it I caught middle to the end, and I think you might be talking about two things in a sense, because I know there was the hearing that I watched, which was in PA, where Giuliani presented some speakers as far as the affidavits. There was somebody from the military testifying. There was quite a few different people there, basically all giving pretty much the naysayers on fraud something to look at in a sense. So they definitely, in my opinion, have, I definitely recommend people watch it. It was just over 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I know it's a long time, but if you are skeptical, have doubts, or want to, see it for yourself, like you should, there's plenty of stuff out there. I mean, it was 3 hours of pretty much damning, information. So, and they did point out that they do have the ability to overturn the decision there in PA. So we'll see what comes from it. I don't know. All the people there, the senators, one, can't remember his name there, Doug, I think Manistrato or something like that. I can't recall. He was there speaking about it, seen him in PA. He seemed to be a great speaker as well. He's a senator there. So apparently, I'm not sure what they're going to do with this, but all the people there on the bench for state, or the panel or whatever, basically seems, convinced, publicly convinced that there was definitely an issue. So hopefully something takes place. Lots of information. I assume we're going to hear a lot more about it over the next couple days.
Yeah, I just put the link to that recording because it's thing. They got it on YouTube. I just put the link there to what happened today in the hearing. So
Okay.
it's over 3 hours long, but you can skip through it if you want. But
there's a site called NDT News. It's just called NDT. That's where I found it today. Stumbled across it under live feeds. And they have some cut-ups of it as well. And that should be the link that he's posted for the full one.
Well, so I'm posting the link that you gave me.
Okay, yep. So they do have some. That should be the full one. It's 3 hours, 27 minutes. But that channel itself does have smaller versions if you wanted to try to, if you didn't have 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So
yeah,
NDT is a good channel. If you're looking for a break from the Hollywood news, NDT is pretty good because I'll warn you ahead of time, they're boring because they just sit there and read you the news. Whether you find a little bias here or bias there, whatever, it's gonna just be straight news. So definitely go check out NDT. Is it, Rob, or is it NTD? I think it's NDT. I'll find the link and put it out there too.
Yeah, NTD.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know anything about the the news site or anything like that. Just other than that, they were running it uninterrupted live, and obviously I clicked on there, checked out their thing, and I seen they also have some smaller snidbits or whatever you call them of it as well. So definitely something to check out if you know somebody on the fence or whatever, or might be a little open-minded. This might be a video for them. Yeah.
All right. My next thing is let's release the Kraken. I mean, she said she would file a lawsuit today. Well, it's on Wednesday. Well, the courts are closed and she didn't file no lawsuit. Is she willing to put her reputation on the line? Or does she actually have something? This Sidney Powell is what I'm on about.
That's the obvious question that we're all going to find out. You got to think all the stuff that she's talking, and that Lynn Wood guy, General Flynn, all behind her, they'll be the laughing stocks of the whole planet for the next 10 years if this is all something they're just making up, just that, for kicks and media attention. It'll absolutely destroy their careers. So, it's a bold strategy if she's faking it, and maybe she's got something, some WWE trick up her sleeve. But
yeah, I mean, she promised to release something last week, and she said, I'll do it over the weekend. Then I'll do it on Monday. Then, I'll release it on Wednesday. I'll do something on Wednesday. And we're still waiting. Another week's gone by. You know what I'm saying? It's beginning to the point where I'm hoping to God she's not BSing. Because if she's got something, she needs to do it. She's running out of time. So I don't know. And anyway, Georgia. Here's my thing. I mean, Vanessa Kitty just says, look like some Republicans in Georgia are trying not to get the 2 runoff senators elected. Why is that? I don't know. But
Kelly Loeffler is a rotten candidate to have in position first, because at the beginning of the coronavirus, she was one of those Republicans that got caught dumping stocks with insider information. So she's already got a big X against her. And Sidney Powell's throwing around that a bunch of these Republicans in Georgia use this whole Smartmatic thing to get elected. So she's like, once again, she's throwing heavy bombs, and she's throwing them at the Republican Party too.
Yeah. Now, the only thing here is, right, you can't change the candidate now because the runoff is between the four people, the two Democrats and the two Republicans. But my question here, I'm hearing a lot of people saying is, well, we got to win at least one of them. No, we need to win both of them. The Republicans need to win both of them. And let me explain why. Right? You've got, because if we win both of them, that'll give us 52 seats in the Senate. Okay? Think about this. Mitt Romney, you can't guarantee his vote. So if we get both of those in Georgia, one of those will always cancel out his negative vote. And then that will still leave us 51 to win the majority. Just pointing that out to you guys. So.
Well, isn't there another issue? And correct me if I'm wrong, because this might just be for Supreme Judge or Supreme Court nominations. But if there is a tie in the Senate, doesn't Vice President get to be the tiebreaker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the problem there is we've got 4 to 5 real shit. It's not just Mitt Romney. It's Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins.
Oh yeah.
There's 2 more of them that are about Ben Sass. No, he's from the House. But anyway, there's a bunch of them that we can't really count on.
Yeah, but the one I worry about the most is Mitt Romney. He's taken over for McCain. The bleeding heart. So.
But that kind of goes back to the point I was making before in previous chats when we would talk about like the Hearing Protection Act and other bills that had gone to the Senate and died, and you're saying, oh, well, they couldn't get the votes. Well, how do we know we weren't going to turn any of those Democrats? Because just like we're talking about, hey, there's Republicans we can't count on. There's Democrats that the Democrats can't count on because, voting on some of these things could mean losing their seat. So, it happens for both sides of that aisle.
Well, you say that this whole 2 years of the Senate, right? The Democrats voted on party lines. Every single one of them did not go against what the party said they were going to do. Not one of them. Even though they might be leaning on the fence, they did not go against the party in this last.
And my point there is, what the ones that kind of flip flop on some things and don't just vote party line, those are the ones that have to actually look at their constituent base and say, you know what, I think my constituents would support this, and if I vote against this, this could mean my seat. Well, and if we would have forced that vote, even if we didn't get the vote, then we could be talking about a whole different thing right now where we had a lot of pissed off gun owners this election saying, whoa, you voted against the Hearing Protection Act. You voted against national reciprocity. I'm voting you out. And instead, we're looking at a possible 50-50 Senate right now.
Well, I tell you, none of those, I said every one of them voted on party lines. Every one of them. On the Democrat Party. Even if their constituents called them up and wrote them letters saying no, they still went with party lines.
If they continue and we let them get away with what they're doing, they'll never jump party lines, ever. They'll do what they're told. They'll stand in line and vote against what we want and for what they want, and they will have no fear of the voters because they just proved they can rig an election. So your vote doesn't matter. Even if you're a Democrat, your vote doesn't matter. They don't need you anymore.
They've also played the safe game of politics for a long time because if you have just make up numbers, a 10-seat lead, and the Democrats have a 10-seat lead, all the Republicans can vote against all the Democrat stuff and then run back to their Republican constituency and say, look, I voted against all this stuff because what's it matter? You lost anyway. and then vice versa for the other party if the other party's out. So a lot of the times they make these votes and they vote against stuff that their constituency would like and go with for the party because they've got 10 other things that they can say, but look what I did. And then a lot of them also say, well, you don't want to vote for that guy because they're those things. And most people just fall for the politics of it because
Oh yeah.
they don't have. I've talked about it before, having the Constitution to change things. Guns and Barbecue just brought it up. If you tell me you're going to put a stop sign at the end of the street and you don't put a stop sign at the end of the street and the time you said you were going to do it, or you don't have a super great idea for not doing it, then we're all going to be out in front of the State House for a week until that stop sign gets up or you're out of office. But we're not going to do that because we got to go to work. We got kids to feed. We got video games to play. Somebody else's problem. Protest doesn't solve anything. All the millions of different reasons why we're not going to change anything.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, and it goes back to what a lot of other people you said is when it comes to voting time and these senators, they said, well, look, I voted for this, this, and this is what you wanted. For all you, I'm not a one-item voter. Oh, I voted for this. I voted for these 4 things. Yeah, I voted against, I done an anti-gun thing, but I done 4 good things. And you'll go, oh, yeah, let's vote him in again. He done 4 good things. Even though he shot me up the ass, he done 4 good things. That's the problem.
What worries me is we know what the Democrats want. They don't shy around this. Politicians don't ever give you what they promise, but the Democrats sure seem to deliver on what they threaten. So I'm worried more about the Republicans compromising, folding, working with them. You know what I mean? The Democrats already proven they'll stay in party lines, even if it's a serious issue or a ridiculous one, they will all vote the way Nancy or whoever tells them to. I'm worried about the Republicans that are going to be willing to compromise and do things, and we get the shaft even though we had our trust in them.
Yeah. I want to backtrack slightly on something here. Is what Vanessa Kitty says. I believe in affordable health care to everyone. You get sick or injured, the cost of prohibitively high for the bulk of the population. All right. Yes, I believe health care should be affordable to everyone. But I don't want healthcare like they have, because I lived there in England, right? Healthcare for everybody. And you had your local, your they call them a local GP, your primary care provider, basically, right? You go to him, he takes care of all your stuff. It's free, great. But say, for argument's sake, say you have, now you get in a car accident and you're bleeding everywhere. They rush you into hospitals. They, operate on you, fix your body up. Their medical treatment is great in England. It really is. It ain't far off what the United States has in that sense. But here's the big but. Say, for argument's sake, you have a hernia, right? You get put on a waiting list, i.e., okay, they'll supply you with some sort of trust to wear to help you with the pain and everything else. But you could wait up to 2 years to have that hernia operated on. That's what happens with affordable health care for everybody.
So
and the
for that waiting list, what are you waiting behind?
What?
For that waiting list, what are you waiting behind?
You're waiting to get done.
Yeah, but if you're on a waiting list, that means there's people in front of you. What's in front of you? Is it people that need a heart transplant? Is it people that need a heart transplant? Or
I mean, there's a waiting. There's a waiting list for everything. Whatever operation you have, there's people in front of you because there's people that want it. There's not enough hospitals and not enough doctors. Basically,
you say because I know My dad had a hernia several years ago, and it's not like they said, "Oh, you have a hernia, we're going to operate tomorrow." I mean, he waited weeks before they could schedule the surgery, get everything approved, go through all the pre-surgery testing, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's not like you have something happen here and you just go and jump on the OR table.
What he's talking about
is all that doesn't start in England for up to 2 years before you even start getting it done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason that medical coverage is so expensive in the United States is the same reason everything else in the United States sucks. The government is involved. All the way down to they're messing around with the college tuitions and all that kind of stuff we talked about. I think it was on Rich's show or Jason's show last night. Why aspirin costs $900? All that stuff is because the government's got their hands involved. The only way in a capitalist free market society to have cheaper health care, not coverage, because care and coverage are two different things. If you need to get your finger stitched and put a Band-Aid on, it should cost how much? Is a free market system. And nobody wants to. Well, you can't put this up. We have gotten so far away from a true free market system. We don't think it works. We don't think it's possible. We got to have regulations. We got to have laws. Doctors could charge. The first thing somebody's going to say is, "Well, a doctor can charge $9 million for a Band-Aid." Yeah, and that doctor will have 0 patients because there's 100 other doctors down the street charging $1.99 for a Band-Aid.
I think some of that cost has to do with like some kind of insurance scheme or scam or something that's going on, because
malpractice.
I firsthand experience in a sense where other people that have insurance have gone to the dentist for the same thing I've gone to for cleaning. I went in no insurance, paying cash, and my bill was like less than half of their bill, and we got the identical treatment. And I got in. I called. Say today, it was done within 2 days. Like I showed up the next day and I was in. They all had to wait a while too. So it seems, I can't say everywhere, but in some cases it seems like it's a lot cheaper if you pay cash. So because of that, or like if you got to take an ambulance to go a block from your house, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like starts at $500 or something like that. I think some of that is the fact that they're just making money off this stuff. So I don't know how one hand washes the other, but they're really good at charging you $20 a Band-Aid when we all know you can get 5 boxes for $20. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but I mean, good examples like I'm going for my hip surgery in January. End of January. I chose that. He said I could have it next month in December if I wanted it. So I mean, now God forbid if I was in England and I needed a hip, God knows how long I would have to wait. They would like give me my cart and my walker. They more likely give me cortisone injections or whatever to help kill the pain. I could be waiting years to get a hip replacement.
Mick Jagger needed heart surgery, so he flew to New York. He didn't stay in London.
Yeah. So I mean, good example. My sister lives in England, and she does the national health thing. She fell off her horse at her age. She said, "I said I'm quite surprised at your age you didn't kill yourself," because she's in her mid-50s, right? She said, "That's the first time I've fallen off a horse," she said, "in 30 years." But anyway, she hurt her hip. And somehow she developed not a bump on her hip. She had a dent in her hip, And so they sent her for an MRI to see what was causing it. She waited 7 months for that MRI appointment. 7 months.
Anytime you want to compare any other countries, especially we're talking about England. You want to compare England's healthcare system to ours. Charlie Gard. Conversation over. They let that kid die. All kinds of different countries, especially the United States, said that bring Charlie Gard over here. We'll give him all the medical care he needs for free, no matter what happens if he lives or dies. And England said, nah, let him just sit there and die.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
I debate a little bit on that. I think, our system in some cases could do better, but doesn't at a certain point. So I think there's a lot of people here that should have gotten proper treatment or correct treatment that don't end up passing on prematurely, in my opinion. But
yeah, there's a big difference.
I think that's
malpractice,
financial, and whose insurance you have, and what places will deal with you. And I mean, I even know a guy here where they wanted to chop his leg off at 2 hospitals. He goes to a third one, and he's fine. He's running around, no problem. He's doing some therapy, he got his legs. I mean, things go back and forth. I don't know.
Well, look at me. It took me three surgeons it took the third surgeon who would finally operate on me.
Wait a minute. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between you going in to have your right foot cut off and some dumbass doctor cut your left foot off than a bunch of politicians and bureaucracy people and doctors sitting around looking at this little baby who could use some medical attention and say, screw him, let him die.
Yep.
And prevent you from getting help.
I don't know.
It's not waiting to give your help, preventing you.
So, Rick, I want to go back to my question because I think you took my question as I was trying to defend the English health system, and that wasn't the case. I'm just curious, like that wait, what is the purpose behind it? Why do they have you wait so long?
Because they don't have because of restraints, money to pay for it, doctors to do it, hospitals to do it.
The government pays your 100% doctor bill, right, Rick?
Correct.
So
now, every working Englishman pays into it. Pays what they call national health stamp.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying when you go to the doctor,
the more you earn, the more you pay.
Right. All that. When you go to the doctor on Tuesday to get a new pair of glasses, and you leave the doctor's office, where does the bill go?
Government.
Okay. That's the reason that there's a backlog.
Yep.
It's because now it's free. You don't have to pay for it. So everybody that feels like they got a cold rushes to the doctor's office.
That's what I was going to say. At that point, of bringing the sniffles is like, oh, I've got the sniffles and I need, some coldies or some BS.
Yeah, they're gonna, instead of going to the pharmacy to get some NyQuil, they go to the doctor. And that's causing a backlog. Plus, the bigger problem is when you put a cap on how much I can charge you for a ear, nose, and throat inspection, a sniffles inspection, whatever doctors do, a checkup, then the pool of people who want to become doctors gets smaller and smaller. And then you got to find doctors that'll do certain examinations for that price. Basically, doctors that are going to work for the government. That I'm going to go to a different country to become a doctor.
That's like Medicare, right? They get paid what the government says they're going to pay them.
It's almost like you guys were all criminals, so you probably understand what it's like to have a public attorney.
Yeah.
You got that big fancy attorney that pulled up in the Mercedes and has, the $5,000 suit on. And the lawyer that you're looking at next to you has got a tie halfway off, got some dirty old shoes with newspaper stuck in them for socks, and got a handful of manila envelopes. Just in case you guys, I figured I'd be real descriptive there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're you're right. It's just I don't know. It's
you go to court dressed better than they do, right?
Right on. That's it. Rob knows.
Yeah.
Just wear a black robe to court. Take a little wooden hammer with you.
They don't care. They're just happy to be there. They get credit either way.
Yeah, I mean, but like over here, I mean, the like my good example I had to build the other day. My foot doctor, he charges $240 a visit just to check my feet to make sure that I don't have any lesions on them or anything that might cause me problem with my diabetes. And then they trim my nails, my toenails while I'm there because of my back issue. I can't do my toenails. Right? And they do it every 9 weeks, $240.
All right, just let's
Right
go
now,
ahead.
let me finish. Medicare only pay them something like 170, and they take it, but they know they got more patients who are paying the 240, so they can afford to take the 170 off of Medicare.
Shit, I'd charge you way more than that.
Yeah, just for all the people who aren't familiar with, when you say you have your feet checked, you don't walk in, take off your shoe, take off your socks, stick your foot in the guy's face, and he's like, "Oh, you look good, get out of here," and then they cut your nails. Like, what does that? What are you getting for your $240?
The nurse comes in. I have to take my own shoes off, but they have to take my socks off because I can't do it. And they have to put them on for me because I can't do it. I have to use a special gadget here at home to put my socks on. Anyway, they actually pick up my feet because they put me on one of those seats, and they actually look at my feet, and see if everything's okay. That's it. That's all they do is check them. And if I do, I mean, like I had, oh man, it's been a couple of years ago, I had a cut on my little toe. And of course, they treated it and everything else to make sure, that it didn't get infected or anything. But that's about it. Then the lady comes in and she does my toenails. Then then what they do is then they'll take the Dremel and cut off all the hard skin on the bottom of my feet with the Dremel. That's about all they do for that $240.
So in a sense, you go to the dog groomer.
Yeah, basically.
How much they charge to paint them nails?
But they don't. They don't. I don't know. I don't have that service. But anyway, they do that. I mean, and the person who actually checks them, I believe, is a nurse or a nurse practitioner or something. But you're actually paying for there's a doctor there. You're actually, I guess, in case the one time I needed him, he came in and looked at the cut on my toe, But otherwise, I just see a nurse practitioner. Then another lady, all she does is cut nails.
Do you have diabetes, Rick?
Yes. Yeah, okay. But I'm doing pretty good, actually. I mean, I personally myself, I don't think my average, my A1C average, my worst it's ever been is 6.8. Right now, it's been 6.1 for months.
That's not bad at all, Rick. That's actually pretty darn good.
That's what I'm saying. And on average, you're taking an average, my blood sugar count is 130. So I personally don't feel I got it. But they had me on metformin, they took me off that, and they put me on Trulicity now. And actually, I just jabbed myself this morning in the leg, and that lasts a week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, the threshold for your... Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the threshold for your A1C is 5.5. If you hit 5.5 or go over it, that's when they're going to say that you have diabetes. And really, your sugar's not supposed to go over 120 when you check it. So 130 isn't terrible by any means. I mean, a little high, but not by much. So that's not awful. The entire side of my mother's family has diabetes. So at this point, I'm just playing the waiting game to get it myself. And it's type 1 and type 2 diabetes on my mother's side. So if you don't get the one, you get the other. But
it runs in my dad's family too.
Yeah, I was actually I think it was after my third brain surgery. I'm laying in the hospital, and doctor comes in and he's like, "So I can put it to you nicely, or we can just cut out the bullshit and I can just tell it to you straight." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're a full blown diabetic, and we need to get this taken care of immediately." And I was like, "What?" I was told I was pre-diabetic before, but not full blown. And he's like, "Your blood sugar was this morning," and I'm like, "Yeah, they took my sugar literally 30 minutes after I had breakfast, which was an English muffin." I was like, "Of course it's going to be high." And 3 days of going back and forth with this doctor, he comes in again and he's like, "All right, I'm just going to tell it to you straight. We can, BS you and say you need to exercise and lose weight, or we can just put you on medication." I was like, "Have you looked at my freaking chart stock?" I was like, "I'm already on medication." So then he
Just
goes
sell
back.
it as the insurance, man. He wants that money. Got to give you something.
He goes back, looks at my chart, and he comes back. He's like, "Oh, in that case, you're a really well managed diabetic," and leaves. Never saw him again.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "You got to be freaking kidding me!"
Sugar. I mean, I've taken my sugar sort of like 30 minutes after I eaten just to see what it looks like. I mean, it's up there. It's up there almost. One time I done it and it was like 240.
Oh yeah, that's why you're supposed to wait about 3 hours after eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, now like for me, since I've lost all this weight, my A1C, I think last time I had it checked was like a 4.9 or 5.0, something like that.
Oh shit, you're not even a diabetic anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I was always told I was pre-diabetic. Take the steps to try and beat it, and so far, knock on wood, we're winning.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been rambling on here, and it's gone 12. It's 12 minutes past 8. So I'm about ready to wind this up. I'm getting hungry for my grilled cheese sandwiches. So oh my God, I got to make my own breakfast tomorrow. Deb's is closed.
You got to do your quiz too.
Oh yeah, for Saturday. Yes, email me at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. The question is, this guy, so it's a man, appeared in 2 John Wayne westerns back in the 60s. He was actually an artist, and he done a lot of his artwork was American West, Indians, cowboys, and horses. I want to know what his name was and what did he do in the movies. What part did he play, basically. That's it. So, I want to know, he played in 2 movies. I can tell you which ones to make it even easier. McClintock and El Dorado. I want to know what his name was and what he played in those movies. He was a well-known artist of American West.
His name was Josie Wales, and he played an outlaw.
So I say get that into me by Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time, and you're being for the swag pack. So there we go. All right, let me go through the panel here and say your shout outs and plugs and all that good stuff. New York Outcast.
Just thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me. Have a good evening, everybody.
All right, thank you for being here. Jason Stewart.
Thanks for the invite, Rick. It was a great show. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And remember that a freedom that is lost is never going to return.
That's right. Kingpin.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Always glad to be here, Rick. And roll call is coming up later tonight. Tomorrow's his birthday, so make sure everybody wish him a happy birthday.
All right. Guns and Barbecue.
I just want to say thanks for having me. Make sure you go check out everybody's channel that's here on the panel. They all got good stuff happening. Jason's got his chat every Thursday night, which he actually did on Monday this week because of the holiday. You all know New York and Kingpin, of course, always putting out good stuff. If you're going to be drinking or anything tomorrow, of course, do so responsibly. Don't go ruining people's holidays because, you wanted to act a fool. And I hope everybody, stay safe and have a good holiday.
Okay, great. And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And I want to say thank you for all for stopping by this evening. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys all on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. So I want to say good night to everybody. Good night. Goodbye, Sabrina.
Good night, everybody. Unloaded Media.